altar light, scroll in hand, 7 seals, every word cuts and heals. Red horse screams, hooves like drums, sword raised high, kingdoms come, peace unstitched by a single roar. I hear thunder at my door, wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar is another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars, hey, echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks the seal, all the old world shakes with our fears. Black horse ways, bread and bone, steel stilled hard, iron strong. Measure grain by a dying sun, silver short for everyone. Pale horse waits, eyes like ash, graves awake, tombs unlatched, Hades hangs on a trailing chain. Every pulse spells your name. Wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar's another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars, echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks the seal, all the old world shakes with our fears. Fifth seal opens. How long? How long? Blood at the altar becomes a song. Sex seal shatters, sky like glass. Kings of the earth hide in the cracks. Wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar is another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars, echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks the seal, all the old world drowns in its fears.
All right, I know. We got about another minute left of the intro, but I was like, I missed you guys, so I gotta come back in. Good to see you. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Mondays, mega worldwide, and is it not the Mondayest of Mondays? Now, I know some of you may be reacting to Hal. Why would you have a big booby lady as your on one of your thumbnails? Well, it's actually an inspired thing, if I do say so my damn self. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that greatly. If you're on Facebook, remember, give me a frowny face. Angry emoji is always better, but something negative. Apparently, that's how you tickle the algorithm's nether regions. You warm the cockles of Meta by hate watching things. Isn't it a wonderful time to be alive? But the reason there was a direct inspiration. I don't want you to think it just came out of nowhere. Besides the fact that maggots aren't sure if they're going to turn on Sydney Sweeney anytime soon, but apparently there is the list of people who are sort of distancing themselves from Trump or sort of mildly grumbling is a gathering crowd, but the line of maggot influencers that are full out bailing on Trump is extending around the block. And I'll show you why. This is the story that was in the Daily Beast this morning. Racy Trump. Okay, simmer. Racy Trump superfan demands his removal from office. Now, Racy, I'm guessing, is their way of sort of sidestepping, kind of saying sexy in their own way or something like that. When indeed, okay, I gotta tell you guys something. I respect a lot of what would be considered conventionally beautiful women, but and some of them certainly are sexy and gorgeous and vibrant and full of life and whatever. Yeah, but it's not necessarily parallel. Just because someone is conventionally beautiful for whatever reason and might, flip all your evolutionarily charmed switches that make you go, oh yes, make you turn due north, as it were. That doesn't necessarily mean that that person is genuinely sexy, right? I think that's my point. There are people you're going to go, I absolutely can understand the attractiveness of that person. However, for a lot of different reasons, personality, style, the look on their face at any given time, how they treat a waiter. That's a big one for me. That's a big one. That can flatten somebody's sexiness in an instant. If you're mean to a waiter, I mean, gone. That's it. Like, all right, okay. Check, please. And what are you doing Thursday? Right. So it is, yes, it's very subjective. So in the tap dance around the subjectivity of it, they use the word racy. Now, why racy? Well, that, I suppose that means quick to take your clothes off, perhaps. Maybe that's where that comes from. I'm not quite sure. Is it were there lot lizards at like race car events for a long time? And so being a racy, that's racy. It's just, there's a lot of words that make sense in terms of sexuality. Racy's not one of them. I have to look up the origin of that. Anyways, she's an OnlyFans model. Breck Worsham, which I got to tell you, if there's a maggot lady name, Breck Worsham is it. If you've lost the Breck Worshams of the world, oh dear. So anyway, so there she is, barely pulling up her top in the thing or whatever it goes. A MAGA superfan who helped boost Donald Trump's run for office. And this is true. Like, she was an active member of this kind of maggot media push. I think we saw her at one of these events during the campaign. It might have come up at one point, but I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, she was around and she was definitely boosting online. And I dropped off of shitter before. Yeah, that's her name. Breck Worsham, which sounds like someone who's having a stroke trying to say the name of a shampoo. Breck Worsham. Are you feeling okay? You smell almonds. I got myself with that one. That's good. I think I'm still a little slap happy from Saturday. I didn't get a tremendous amount of sleep. And yesterday I flew in. I was supposed to arrive at 4 p.m. I got it at 11 p.m. Right, CSL. I know. Breck Worsham. Body, strength, and your split ends, and give the fullness that you've been wanting to. Also, shave 35 points off your IQ. Get it close to your brain, and you won't believe what you'll vote for. Breck Worsham. It's basically the stuff that's in those tanks in Garden Grove that's going to explode, but it smells like fruit. All right. So Breck Worsham, described as a MAGA superfan. Oh, that's sad. Said this was her post. At this point, Trump is no longer just a global novelty, which is why you vote for a president, I think. He's no longer simply an embarrassment. He's a threat to the country he was elected to represent. He is, at best, a narcissist, and at worst, a sociopath. Either way, he's out of control and poses a direct threat to this country. He must be removed from office before it's simply too late. Welcome to the party, pal. Like, that's one of the things we have to add. Like, that's going to have to be a new sound effect. We're gonna have to add CSL to the list of stuff because I feel like that's like it will be the quote of 2026, right? Yeah. So, and here's the thing. She says, I think she even does one of the Tucker apologies in this, and we'll get to my own pet peeve this morning, which is the same pet peeve I've had for weeks. And all right, hence the other thing that was in the thumbnail. This is her. She's in this calendar with some. Oh dear. This is, I don't know who the dude is with the farmer's tan, but you do you, boo. She's doing a great job hiding his beer belly, though. The star of the calendar is the MAGA blonde hottie Breck Worsham. Now with terramycin and blue flakes of something to make it look like it's working. Buy one and help our wounded warriors. So, all right, at breckworsham.com/shop. And I guess that's David Wohl. So he got her to pose in his own calendars that he so no, baby, this is for wounded warriors. And I promise I'm not gonna use the money to pay for a year's supply of Blue Chew. I'm sorry. I'm aggravated this morning, and this is how I get. Kids. She's January 2025. She wrote, "Today we make America great again. Let's fucking go." That's on Inauguration Day, the second term. Have a beautiful day. America's back, and you made it happen. Okay. And now comes what I would call the Tucker. She's doing the Tucker. Dear America, I voted for Trump 3 times. I worked on 2 of his campaigns to help him get elected. I'm directly responsible for much of what is happening now. If I had it to do over again, I wouldn't. I am truly sorry. Great. Now apologize to me. I'm glad you're apologizing to America. It's a great first step. But, maybe if you're realizing the guy is a liar, maybe he's not just lying about his promises. Maybe he also lied about the people that he was vilifying and turning into opponents and making us look evil just because we have slightly different political leanings than you, or our solution to an equally, an agreed upon problem is different than yours. And that asshole told you that the press, maybe you owe the press a fucking apology. Maybe they're not the enemy of the people after all. Maybe they were telling you the fucking truth, lady. All right, I'm fine. I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be okay. It's just it's such a weird thing. Like, I'm there. Yeah, there it is. Thank you, CSL. Yeah, that's it. So I'm downloading that right now. So I'm glad. All right. Let's just be grateful and thankful and share a moment, ladies and gentlemen, where we can hold deeply in our hearts. This is Jesus, a feeling of understanding. Being a moron should not be does not deserve capital punishment, which is why just because people were dumb about vaccines and stuff, I still don't want them to die. It's just me. I'm weird that way. And a lot of other ways. Thank you very much for noticing. Yeah. All right. The chat is having a moment. Thank you, Lisa, for the angry faces on Facebook. They should call it angry Facebook at this point. Okay. So I'm glad she's saying sorry, but she's apologizing to the maggots that she led astray. Let's be clear. She's sorry that he's insufficient in other ways. Like, not only is he starting new wars, regime change wars, foreign wars, but he also isn't doing mass deportations, which again are fucking impossible because there aren't 25 to 35 million more illegals in the country. And he's giving a pass to the majority of the ones that are here. Trump did. Hey, maggots, come here for a second. Come here. Come here. Come here. Let me. I know we have a couple. We got to have a couple in the chat, just because the titty woman in the thumbnail should draw them. Let me explain something to you. Not only was he lying to you about the 25 to 35 million new immigrants that are here and suddenly became murderous. And by the way, if all of them were these psycho murderer asylum escapees that he told you they were, then you wouldn't even know the names of the people they killed. It would just be blood in the streets nonstop, and the numbers would be over. You wouldn't even be able to name a bill after Laken Riley because her name would have been lost in a haze of dead people, right? But it's a farce. And on top of that, he just gave them amnesty. Do you know that? Do you know that he gave farm workers, the farmers and the big agribusinesses, honestly, that hire them, a trust me bro deal, which is like this softball amnesty to just stay in the country and work under the table. It's, keep an eye on them, will you? That's just executive order amnesty. He did the same thing with hotel and hospitality workers, of course, because he's got them at his golf course, and his hotel, and his buildings, all the janitors in every building he has. I guarantee he insists on them being undocumented so that he can sexually harass the women or scare everybody into not, speaking up. So, and any company that he hires that hires undocumented people, he gave them a pass. Like, you just do a trust me, bro. What is that if not amnesty? It's executive order amnesty. It is exactly the same thing these fuckers accused Obama of doing for trying to get DACA through Congress. So, maggots, enjoy your new amnesty. And you know what? I'm going to stop telling you that there's not 25 million to 35 million people in here taking American jobs and running around like psychos or whatever. Continue to believe that. And if you continue to believe that, you also have to tack on the knowledge that he gave them a pass too. He's not, if he's kicking out, 100,000 people or 300,000 people a year, which is the average anyways, under almost every president. It's actually below average in this last run because magically, I don't know, if you're trying to catch people who are here illegally, maybe rolling down the street in fucking tanks and armored vehicles is a bad way to sneak up on them, you dipshits. Oh my God. All right, I'm fine. I'm all right. I'm going to be okay. Hey, Can't Stop Lying. I got to see and briefly meet Hal at Nerd Hale and McHenry on Saturday. Oh, sorry. So I can't read the name because it's so small. So, hi. That was really lovely, by the way. Super fun. Those shows were a great time and a huge learning arc for me using my in-ears. My voice is more tired from talking after the McHenry show than it was from the shows, all three of the singing shows, even though it was 90 minutes, 100 minutes, and 75 minutes. Like, these were long, full on. These were shows, baby. Let me tell you. All right. So let's go back to this woman's crocodile tears apology. You know what? I'm going to take her at her word. I'm sure she's truly sorry. I'm sure she's shocked. But it ain't about the tax break that's creating more debt for the country and undermining, children and family services primarily, and kicking people off of disability. We can't afford that. We can't afford daycare. We've got a military ourselves with our militarying. She said that last July, from a legal perspective, this is where you're talk about having some shrinkage from a cold side of the pool. From a legal perspective, even if Trump is in the Epstein files, that does not a pedophile make. You're right. That doesn't automatically make you one. especially the ones that have been released. From what's released, you might think, well, it's some debate. There's certainly no legal reason why you'd think that from what's been released that he's that level of culpable. Of course, there's 3 million documents that he actively withheld, and the deputy director of the FBI quit, and he fired Pam Bondi, and mainly because they were getting to their shit or get off the pot moment. But, you're right. In what's been released so far, he just looks like a creepy scumbag and not a full-on pedophile. So why are the other 3 million documents? And by the way, first of all, it's not pages, it's documents. I've dealt with this before. A 10-page document and a 1-page document are not equal in their number of pages. Okay? Get that? So if I release 3 million pages, that could be, wait for it, 1 document. It really could. The big bullshit bill was over 3,000 pages. It's 1 document. See how this works? We released half the stuff. No, you didn't. You released 3 million pages of an indeterminate amount of shit. And she was more than willing. She was more than willing to follow along and do her job, walking behind him in the parade with a fucking shovel, scooping his turds up and putting them in the bin so the parade can keep going. And then she ran out of space in the bin, I guess. I lived next door to a man in Tennessee for 3 years who turns out was wanted for multiple white-collar crimes in Florida. That doesn't mean I collaborated with him or had knowledge of his crimes. No, but if you were over at his house a bunch of times and he came over to your house all the fucking time and you got interviewed for an article in the Financial Times and you went, nobody loves money more than this guy, and he likes it on the under the table side. He likes it in brown envelopes, if you know what I'm saying. Like, if you gave that interview, then fuck you, lady. You were too. All right. Wasn't until September she broke ranks. Blah, blah, blah. It took you long enough. Now we're on the brink of World War III. I'm a 3-time Trump. That's where she wrote all that shit. Okay. And then I'm truly sorry. So this is fairly common. So racy lady decided she's taking it on the heel and toe. Now, let's jump, if I may, chat room. Join with me in this because I'm aggravated this morning. I was getting more aggravated the more headlines. Because you guys know the story of the yeah, but I got to tell it this weekend to a couple of people and explaining to them in an article that you're reading what the yeah, but part of the article is. And that is where the writer of said article gets to touch the side of the pool so that they are comfortable swimming in the deep end. They know they don't have all the information necessary to confirm all this stuff. So they go, it could be that this is all bullshit and nothing's really going to happen. And it didn't really happen the way they said it is. But this is the story as we know it right now. But it could be just nonsense. So around there, the third paragraph in your standard New York Times, Washington Post kind of article, that's where you'll see it. If the illustrations or the newspapers in color, it's going to be the 5th or the 7th because they will have smaller paragraphs to make more bite-sized elements of the story because they think that they believed all that bullshit about short attention spans that everybody was selling in the 90s, that we all have a short attention span and we can't think past 3 minutes. Meanwhile, people are binge watching fucking shows for 12 hours at a time. All right. So anyways, the yeah, but is screaming right in the middle of it. Like, these assholes are, I don't know if they're afraid of lawsuits or attacks from the FEC, or if they honestly just don't know. They're like, I guess it could be over this time. So this is all right. There was supposed to be a deal, right? We got a deal, and the oil markets responded as if there's a fucking deal. Now, nothing in this deal said that the Strait would be open in the near term at all. Nothing. And yet, it affected the oil futures. That's because of bots. hit the like, share the show. This is the only place you're going to get this kind of a breakdown. I promise. I'm doing my best for you. And it's just us this morning. I didn't have any guests because I've been away. So I wanted to kind of do a catch up with you guys and just talk, mono y halo. So when the story, I think it was, 2 weeks ago now, when Trump came out on a Friday night and said that we've got a deal. They've agreed to everything. They're going to give up everything. And he did it on a Friday and the market responded like crazy. The futures market went crazy over the weekend. Yet another bunch of buys from inside the White House for stuff that they, how they knew it would manipulate the market. And then what happened? It was a lie. And then again. And then again. This is the sixth time. Fool me once, you can't fool me 6 more times. This is the sixth time he's like, we've got a deal. They've agreed to everything. There's a deal. And everybody went, yay, there's a deal. Based on what? The same asshole saying the same thing at the same time on a Friday night. Why? All right. So I was on like, why are the media taking the bait is the big question. Because I know why the stock market and why the futures market is doing it. Because there is a percentage of the market that is automated now. And the trading mechanism is based on algorithmical response by these trading bots. And so these things are trained on historical data for decades, not the current unpleasantness. So they don't know he's full of shit. They just know that statistically, since the beginning of the stock market till now, the president says we're at war, price of oil will go up. And the president says the war is over, the price of oil will go down. And it will respond statistically in its purchase and sales based on that statistical average, not on what's happening right now, not on the fact that Trump is tacoing. Real, like, flesh and blood traders aren't buying it. They're leaning into the taco thing. They know it, but the bots don't. And there's so much of it. So the problem is that the news is late to the party as well. If I may, I got to put this. All right, I'm taking a moment because I'm going to put this in there because we deserve to have it. There it is. I'll put it in this one. I'll put it in the white suit. I'll put it right here. Yeah, right there in the white suit. Okay. Take this. Don't let go of it. Move mouse. I'm holding down. I'm moving the mousage up here. And then we'll put it up here. And then. Welcome to the party, pal. There we go. So, that's going to be in there and so necessary for all of us and our own sanity. Right up there. I think that one, it'll be a fight this year between that one and...
That was just bullshit, Joel.
These may be the two primary movie quotes of 2026. Because everything about this deal nonsense
This is some bullshit.
is just bullshit. Stop. Why does the news keep taking this bait? All right, so here's my theory. Why do they keep taking the bait? This is my theory. Is that while they may not believe the White House, they see the market react, and the political reporters and pundits at the news organizations aren't kind of hip yet to the automated aspect of the modern market. So they go, well, he might be full of shit, but they think it's real. So maybe they know something we don't. So maybe it is something real. And so they're stuck in this middle, like the old markers, the old road signs tell us we're headed in the right direction. Even though, we're now like Johnny Million, who I dearly love, and Mr. Million, thank you guys for taking me to breakfast yesterday. It was lovely having brunch with both of you. They're not watching. He doesn't. They don't have time for this nonsense. Sorry. So he brought up, we were talking about John Candy and Steve Martin and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and how I don't really find that movie funny. There are touching parts of it, and I find Steve Martin's character too cruel to laugh at. When he's doing the whole like string bit, which everybody points out as being this kind of silly thing, he's being awful. And John Candy is so endearing that it's heartbreaking. So just doesn't make me laugh. It's like the old thing about like, if you see a drunk fall down a flight of stairs in an old, silent movie or something, it's funny. But if he wakes up and blood's coming out of his nose, it's not funny anymore. That's the same kind of thing. Anyways, there is a funny moment in it. There's several funny moments where they're sharing the room and all that kind of stuff. But there's also the one where they're driving on the wrong side of the freeway and somebody driving next to them goes, "You're going the wrong way." And it's like, yeah, like how would they know which way we're going? Right. That's kind of where the media is currently. Like I feel like I'm yelling at them going, "You're going the wrong way." And the media's like the regular news pundits are like, "How does he know which way we're going?" Yeah, whatever, Sparks. Okay, so Trump says Iran deal critics know nothing of potential agreement. That's because he doesn't know either. I'm fine. The reason he's saying that is because there is nothing to know. There has been no movement. They're trading paperwork between proxies, but it's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, it's ratcheting up. It's getting very close to, what does it say? It says, "Fuck you." What does this one say? It says, "Fuck you too." Oh, that's great. Andrea, can you put that in the chat? Because we'll talk about that in a bit. I was gonna end the show with a piece about that. So yes? Okay. Now, this is everywhere. This is how it's being read everywhere. Iran, this is and I love like key headlines. I'm going to get aggravated. Okay. Trump says Iran deal critics know nothing of potential agreement. No one can say deal is imminent despite progress, Bagay says, which is the guy in Iran. Iran deal a work in progress, Rubio says. U.S. Iran making progress on interim agreement, official says. You know what the official is? Trump on background. He's calling these people himself and saying it's almost done, it's almost there, it's almost done, it's almost there. Just don't say it was me. Just to the media. I have I'm going to add this while we go to live because it's a holiday, should be allowed to do this if I want to. Where am I? Got to figure out which opening it is. Okay. Oh, I know what I need. I just find the whole thing friggin' embarrassing. Watching the news just take this bait again and again and again and again. So, and that's comments, and I don't need comment. I need Gemini. That's what I need. So that's what it was. All right, that'll be in Chrome, I guess. I suppose. Yes. Yes. I have so many browsers open. It's embarrassing. Fiction. Yeah. It's John Barron calling. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. So let's see. Dink. Hold on. So yeah, here it is. I just find this whole thing just to be so painfully stupid. Where is it? Okay, this is the one that worked? I think so. Let's see. I hope so. I'm going to turn this on preview mode, which always makes it choppy. I'm sorry if I get choppy for a minute. I'm going to try and arrange. There it is. And then go to here because this is going to bug me. I'm going to take this and, I should probably move it. That's a good idea. I can't leave this file where it's sitting. By the way, hit the like while I'm doing some homework, will you? Help us out here. Copy that. And then we'll paste it in here. There you go. Excellent. That was a pasting noise. Okay. Add overlay. Cool. Excellent. Okay, there you go. I heard that. All right, and then take this and we go transition. No, blend mode. Green screen. Yeah, oh, that worked. That's all right. Okay, that could be worse. And then I'm gonna have to duplicate it on this one. There we go. Scroll it down. Make it really teensy tiny. There we go. Over here. That'll work. Okay. Now, this is just a new thing throwing in there for the kids. And by the way, did you guys hear that loud glissy noise in the chat room? Let me know. Hit the like. Leave a comment below if you like me watching me do homework live on the show. Talk amongst yourselves. We'll be all right. There we go. Get in here, you silly thing. All right. And we'll turn this off. And then... Hey, it worked. Okay, cool. Now, I think it should work because it directly applies. I needed to make a new graphic. Hi there, everybody. So, because of a couple of people. But this would, okay, Iran says no deal imminent despite progress in talks with U.S., which is the exact same situation we were in 5 days ago, 10 days ago, 15 days ago, same shit. Trump is trying to find a way out just by bluffing. He's trying to bluff his way out of this. That's what's going on. Period. End of story. He goes, they don't even know what's in it. It isn't even fully negotiated and there's no rush. Well, then keep your fucking mouth shut and stop telling people it's imminent or it's almost done when it clearly ain't. Ugh, God. Okay, then this is CBS News, the MAGA-coded CBS News now. Live, Iran and U.S. agree deal to end war taking shape, but Iran says obstacles remain. What is in that sentence? What is that? Right? Like every time I read that sentence, it's going to make me more angry. It's so lame. What to know about the Iran war today? Oh, do tell. Brand new MAGA-coded CBS. President Trump has said a deal with Iran is largely negotiated, which is not a thing. Largely negotiated. And that he will either sign a great and meaningful pact with Tehran or there will be no deal. Guess what, asshole? There's no deal. There is no deal. This is not, there isn't one. There's nothing even close to being signable. There are major points of this that are diametrically opposed. This is the same shit that's been going on with Russia and Ukraine to some degree, which is Ukraine is like, all right, we might be willing to talk about a little bit of ground here, but we want, peacekeepers so that they don't try this again. And we don't want a ceasefire that just ends up in an opportunity for these assholes to reload and kill us again. And Russia's like, we only want one thing. What? Ukraine? Like, fuck you, dude. What are you doing? What? You don't like make peace deal? Huh? When are you going to get serious about negotiating? Look, we start with our opening bid. We want all of Ukraine. And then, we negotiate to just the women. All right. And then Iran acknowledged agreement with U.S. on many points. Yeah. The ones that don't fucking matter. But said the signing of a deal is not imminent. It stressed that the proposal under discussion does not include immediate concessions on the nuclear issue. Right. The Iranian regime tempered expectations Monday, arguing that frequent changes and contradictions by the U.S. side present problems and obstacles as final details are haggled over. Why does that sound familiar? Because it's exactly what Trump said about them. It is. That's his complaint. They told us they were going to do something, and then on paper, they didn't do it. Hey, asshole. We had paper that was working, and you tore it the fuck up. I don't know why they're not willing to make a deal with me. I'm the greatest deal terror upper ever.
This is some bullshit. We see through it. This is some bullshit.
All right. But good news. Iran's sports minister is confident that the national soccer team will be issued visas for the World Cup. So they're going to send a team of soccer players to the United States for the World Cup. We're going to be kicking babies with cancer out of the country or separating them from their mothers because while they've been working and paying into Social Security for over a decade, they're not officially U.S. citizens. But meanwhile, we're going to allow Iran to send soccer players into the country along with support staff, right? Imagine the MAGA freak out right now. It's almost as big as the idea that he's going to make, national healthcare loving Canada another state, another 3 states, or make Venezuela or Iran the 51st state, which he's been toying around with. Just go with that, maggots. Go with that for a second. You want 39 million new Americans who are all Iranian with voting privileges. Go for it, buddy. Let's see that. I would love to see you work out the standards on that. That'll be a joy to watch. Hold on. My microphone is still over here and it's causing a shadow. That's fine. All right. Sorry, my lights are a little brighter than they were. I go away and then Bucky comes in and starts fidgeting with everything. Will Trump be attending any of the games? I mean, just for the booze, I think, pretty much. I don't mean alcohol. I mean, or maybe both. I don't buy it. Since he's lying about everything else, why the hell would I believe that this dickhead doesn't drink? I think what they showed in the Middle East when he was over there and had a shot of champagne was that he's actually just said, fuck it. He's in smoke 'em if you got 'em land at this point. Still causing shadows. It's the problem when your music studio and your live stream studio are the same 6 by 8 foot room. It's going to get toasty in here over the summer. All right. So I'm glad. And I got to tell you something, kids. There's an Iranian metal scene that if a liberated Iran, if that was all it gave to the world, it was allowing the metal bands that play in Iran, like that have to play underground shows, allowing them to tour, that would be worth it. That in and of itself. Right? Yes. See, Black Dragon knows. I played some of it, I think, last year when we started this shit again, is to just show you how, how close they are to sort of like 1989, 1990 Russian people where they're like, can we get out from under this shit so we can just be ourselves? Yeah. Funny how the vessels transiting are Chinese. Isn't it though, Connie? And it was good to see you, by the way. Iran says it's permitted 32 more vessels to transit the Strait of Hormuz. Yes, directly to China, right? These are not for other countries. But again, this is oil they're not buying from the broader market. So that's, in theory, what would lower the price. Normal, 32 in total. Okay. In the past 24 hours in coordination, right? I think it's like, 117 is what's normal for the Strait. 5 large oil tankers that required expedited passage also crossed the Strait. They said the remaining vessels are expected to pass through the Strait by Monday. And again, it's hard to tell from even this. We're blocking the ones coming from their ports in theory, unless Trump is just letting these through and not telling anybody. Oh, we'll talk about that too, Cheryl, in a moment. Trump's doctor's appointment tomorrow, his third in a little over a year. That's in the immortal words of the sickest president we've ever had.
Not good.
Right. Yeah. But I'm sure the stress and late nights and early hours and flop sweat and events and pressure are great for his cardiovascular system. And
not good.
Yeah, it's not right. But at least his diet is made up almost entirely of
Tariffs.
sorry.
Tariffs.
I mean,
Potatoes and chicken.
that's right. All right. So, 5 large oil tankers that required expedited passage also crossed the strait. And again, citation needed. And then this is the other part. So Trump talks, it's a deal. We got a deal. It's a great deal. We're done. It's over. We're deal. And then he gets all these calls from right wingers. And I've said this from, the very beginning, the idea that we can't beat Iran in a straight up face-to-face fight is absurd. Would we take massive losses? Would they? Yes, of course, because it would be a real war. But the idea that the U.S. would lose in an all-out war between us and Iran is just dumb. So the question has never been about could, it's about should. It's about ROI, or return on investment, for all the, Fox Business fans out there. Is it worth it? Are you going to gain more than you lose? And right now, the answer is obviously no. Because right now, all we're gaining is the illusion of thinking that Iran's nuclear ambitions that may or may not have existed, are now impossible for them and not actually crucial to their national security, because they basically come to the same conclusion that North Korea has, which is this shit's not going to stop. We're never going to stay this regime as long as we don't have nukes. How high will oil rise? It's going to bump 2 more times at least. And over the summer, it's going to be fucked up because we haven't even tapped past the supply point. So right now, China, for example, they were stocking up. It's almost as if Trump gave them a call, or quite frankly, Tulsi gave them a call and said, hey, you might want to store up on stuff. Trump's going to do this shit, and it's going to make the Strait of Hormuz really tight. So we're just doing you a solid. You don't fuck with us. We won't fuck with you too much. We'll let you know. And they stored over 1.2 billion barrels of oil in the lead up to the war. Kind of like when Russia was starting to put together a war chest during Trump's last year in office and didn't give any red flags. Yeah. So you predict $10 a gallon. You know what? Eventually that will be true. But again, there is a thin line to walk that the oil producing countries and companies need to wrestle with, which is there is a tipping point from necessity, like, oh my God, we need oil, we need gas for our economy, to, okay, fuck this is no longer reliable as a fuel source. We've got to shift to electric. And that becomes the act of demand destruction. I would argue we've already been through this shit once before. We're well on this path, and we've already passed this tipping point. And that, one of the big rises in AI and kind of like autonomous vehicles, which is the least of the use of it, the machining of it and the upscaling of every available consumer car, and battery technology, which is getting better this year on an exponential level. People are just going to, it's the last gasp, of oil, because they know it's coming. Biden said, I think, what is it, 3 years ago now, we're well past this point where there's no undoing the move towards electric vehicles. That's how it's going to happen. It's already on its way. You can try and slow it down, which I would argue this has a lot to do with that. Because you can artificially spike the value of a commodity that is losing its value. There's overproduction. Shale oil in the United States and the volume we produce, along with Venezuela's even trickle that came out, created an oil glut. What do you do when there's an oil glut? You either lower supply, which OPEC Plus tried to do, which is why the UAE left, because they were being denied the ability to sell what they had, especially as prices went up. And they're like, this is our last shot, man. Why the fuck do you think the Saudis are building the Line City, which, by the way, collapsed and is nonsense and was always stupid, and not just because it's a giant act of digital hubris, but also because the nature of the environment is that it would create I don't know if you know about it. Okay. let's take a little trip down memory lane. I wrote Moam. So they were going to build this. Oh, Neom. There it is. This thing. This is so stupid. All right, open image in new task. So they were going to build this city from all the way through the desert. I mean, you want to just talk about like something that a religiously psychotic billionaire ejaculates onto a blueprint in an absolute fit of ego. It's this. So the idea was there's going to be this walled city where in theory, I guess you'd have to have, look how small that fucking boat is, by the way. Just give you some idea of what these assholes are talking about. That it's like 119 miles or something across the desert. And the idea is that it would be mirrored on the outside, you know, because mirrors and desert heat famously go very well together. So that you would look at it and I guess it would be invisible. So you'd run into it like fucking the Wile E. Coyote. All right. So they're designing this thing. These are the little yachts, the little yacht parking lot that they would have. By the way, just what do you think of? What do you think wind coming from this direction would do? Especially if it tilted that direction. What do you think would happen if wind just kind of went that way? And that there was a temperature fluctuation in the bottom of it where they kept it cool to the top of it where it's open. What do you think it would happen? Let me introduce the Saudi royal family to a wonderful movie called The Wizard of Oz, because a flaming sand tornado is in your future if that's your idea for building a fucking city in the desert. It's at this point, just fucking move. This is the dumbest. When they started talking about it, the physics of it made me mad. I was like, what are you doing? At least make it wavy, you dumb motherfuckers. Like, what do you think's going to happen? You know what phrase went through my head? Was Denham Elliott in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Wiped clean by the wrath of God. I could not think about this. Are you nuts? Do you understand cold air, hot air, an extreme, and a tunneling effect? What happens after move-in day? Okay, open that end. Everybody's dead in an afternoon. What are you doing? Why don't you just build a fucking Panama Canal the same size? Just dig a fucking trench and avoid the Strait of Hormuz. It would be cheaper, you dumb sons of bitch. I don't know what the fuck. This is what happens when you have bazillions of dollars in oil money and you are snorting Captagon like you're Scarface trying to hide the evidence during a raid. Yes, designed by Wile E. Coyote. Fuck me. This is so dumb. It's just so stupid. And by the way, it's not going to happen. It is not. This is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They originally had, what year is it? Anybody put it in the chat room if you know what year it is, just in case any of us have been in cryo sleep. Anybody watching this in the future could go, he was right again. It was supposed to be done by 2030. 4 years from now. Move in ready in 4 fucking years. Yeah. Then they punted to 2050. They tried 2040 just to wink at it. Then they went to 2050, and then they went, man, never mind. And they built a chunk of it like a pilot program thing. And guess what they're turning it into? A data center. That's their new sales pitch. We're going to build giant data centers in the desert because computers love heat. Why the fuck do you think Trump is talking about, investment in Alaska and taking over fucking Greenland? Oh my God. Because it's fucking cold. Data centers in cold temperatures operate way more efficiently. You save a lot of energy not having to cool them. That's why Greenland. That's why Canada. That's why expansion into Alaska. If these assholes had their way, if there wasn't an international treaty about Antarctica and like the North Pole to South Pole, they would be putting them there, and it would melt all the ice and we'd all drown because it would be so fucking hot. Yeah, build a wall. It's exactly. Build 2 walls and then live between them. Yeah. It's I completely agree. This is so
dumb, stupid, dumb, silly, stupid, dumb.
Let me tell you something. I'm all for dumb shit. Chat room, you guys know me. I'm all for dumb shit that's fun. Right? If you want to try some dumb shit and it's no skin off my nose, what do I care? I come from Kentucky where the leading cause of death is saying, watch this. The death rate after a redneck says, watch this, is 98%. I'm for all. Hey, man, because some dumb shit turns out okay. Levels of extreme, like, there's a need for people to try stupid shit because some of it might work out, right? Good for you. But then there's a categorical level above all of that that is just brutally fucking. And it's not just that this thing is ugly. It's not just that it's absurd, right? Let me tell you something. It's not just that it's to scale fucking insane. It's that there's no reason for it other than making a straight line. Can you imagine having so much money that you're tired of building mega cities that, by the way, fewer and fewer people want to live in because of Iran? Let me tell you, one of the reasons why they scrapped this, besides the fact that it was dumb, from a physics level, we can start there. It doesn't matter that it's ridiculous. I'm fine with ridiculous. Human beings, one of the greatest things about like robot construction workers in the future is that we're going to finally be able to build the Tyrell Corporation headquarters in downtown Los Angeles. You can't build a building like that using humans. There aren't enough of them. There are not enough people. The stuff that everybody's like, wow, the pyramids are amazing. Yeah, that's great if you have slaves. You can make shit like that. Right? That's what you need, because people you have to pay are not going to spend 35 years building a megastructure for you to be buried in. It just doesn't work. But robots will do it, and fairly quickly. You can build megastructures when you've got, robot construction workers effectively, right? So I'm for it. That's one of the things that will save us. You want to talk about a collapse in the cost of housing? Yes, we lose construction jobs, but the trade-off is everybody's got a place to live. I mean, everybody. So, worldwide. Now, there's obviously that option of China falls and they break into 5 different, the provinces become separate countries, and they allow people to move there, and then the ghost cities fill up with Australians and Russians and Japanese people and Europeans and Indonesians and whoever the fuck wants to live there. But this isn't just dumb because it's hubris, because the inside of it, like the videos showing what they plan for the interior is just, I mean, you got to be coked out of your fucking head to think like, yeah, that's what it's gonna look like. Ugh, I'm annoyed. Hold on. But they were going to spend $500 billion on it. Obviously not. All right, you gotta go there. Hold on. Let's see. There should be a. Oh my God. Neom. Where are we? Yeah. Neom. They called it the line. Yeah, here it is. This is what. Hold on. Wait. They probably copyrighted the music, so I don't want to do that. Here you go. So this is 3 years ago. This is what they were planning. So let's take a look at their little thing.
Dum 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 stupid dum silly stupid dum dum
Uh-huh.
dum 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 stupid dum silly stupid dum 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 dopey dippy dum dum stupid really dumb dum 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 moron.
What are you doing? This is what the inside looks like. Fucking Minecraft. What are you talking about?
Dum, dum, dum.
Travel and
Dum 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 bin dum 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 stupid dum silly
2030.
dum dum dopey dippy dum dum stupid really dumb.
what?
Dum 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 stupid dum silly stupid dum dum dopey dippy dum dum stupid really dumb.
Warm air out.
You heard of silence, newly afraid.
Dumb dumb stupid dumb silly stupid
I
dumb
don't-
dumb dopey dippy
Equitable
dumb, dumb,
views,
stupid
accent,
really dumb.
nature.
Moron.
Dum,
Heart of
dum,
trade
stupid,
routes.
Dumb silly stupid dum dum dopey dippy dum dum stupid really dumb.
Moron.
This is just like some of this, like there's stupid and then there's that. Too much science fiction to just in there. I don't think enough, because you need to read some deep science fiction so you know what you're up against. Real science fiction doesn't make shit like that. It's like they saw fucking Black Panther and they're like, what if it wasn't round? It was just in a line. And by the way, you ever live near the beach and don't want to see it? You know what it really is? It just occurred to me while I was watching it. You know what it looks like to me? You know what it looks like to me? You're in a country that is increasingly unpopular amongst the other countries in the region and other people. You're going to be up to some awful shit. And so you need to put your transit line, your main train line, inside a giant walled citadel that runs the length of the country. That's what you do. Like, how are we going to solve this? Everyone hates us, and eventually, right? We could just park the only vulnerable point is where we park our giant fucking boats and our weird little sailboat with huge masts that are apparently the size of the Empire State Building, but with no sails, which I guess would, obviously if you're that big, with the sails up, you'd be like, pew. This is a cruise ship. It's like, Uh, so, anyways, the Iranians, the leadership in Iran that we're dealing with are the same fucking people. Same nutty bunch. Build a wall and the Palestinians will pay for it. Right. Yeah, that's MBS, right? That's what you could do. That's Jared Kushner's suggestion. We'll move all the Palestinians to Saudi Arabia and they can build the line before they're surreptitiously marched into the ocean. Hey, you know that river to the sea things you guys keep saying? There's the river. Keep walking that way. Fuck. It's so stupid. All right. So, needless to say, we are generally in the Middle East. And this is in deference to the people I grew up around. The Saudi royal family is by and large referred to as hillbillies in the vernacular in Arabic, whatever that is. They are thought of as sort of inbred redneck people, just new money dipshits. They're the Saudi royal family are the Clampetts without any of the kind of, traditional values that they brought to Beverly Hills. Just hicks with money and power. Less the Clampetts, more the wild and wonderful whites of West Virginia. Yeah. So insofar as the news goes, this is who we are dealing with. So their leadership, the Iranian people's leadership, is the same as ours. We both have moronic, violent, narcissistic sociopaths running the fucking place. The difference is, and I think this is the part where we hold a little more guilt in this area, is we have choice. We have direct choice. We can elect different people. Last time, about 6 million people went, I don't know. It's probably better than the chick. And they stayed home. We can choose. They couldn't without getting shot. So everybody who's like, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this, who didn't vote can go fuck themselves until it's time to vote again, in which case they better get their ass out and start doing something. But you might as well piss on the graves of the people in Iran who were shot, who tried to stand up for women's rights and to have their own government if you don't even bother to vote, which you can do safely in the United States. Oh my God, they're going to put people outside and intimidate. Well, then go anyways. Who gives a shit? Go in and vote. Right? Who gives a shit if they're intimidating? Why would they be intimidating if you have the right to vote? They're not going to be. And if they try to be, they will get arrested because it would be in violation of the law. If they try to stop you from voting legally, imagine that story, right? Get loud. Yeah. So that, like, Iran or the Soviets of the Middle East. Yeah, that's quite true. And kind of controlled that part of it. So, but man, apparently here's Trump's wonderful Memorial Day message that he put out. Happy Memorial Day to all, including the Democrats, which he spells without the B and makes a point of it because he thinks it will make it Dumbocrats, I think. Like they workshopped this, which, by the way, it would work too if you want it to be a pejorative insult. If you wanted Democrats or Dumbocrats, it works both. It's still, who gives a shit? And I love it. Like, this guy's a master. He's got media wrapped around his finger. This guy can come up with a nickname for everybody. And this is what he comes up with. Fucking kindergarten slams. Dumbocrats. Good Lord. Haven't they seen Enter the Dragon? Pushback. Your mirrored city never works out. Especially when a spear goes through the wall and then you end up, missing a hand. O'Hara's treachery has disgraced us. Who disrespect our military. This is the guy who said that POWs aren't heroes. also called our veterans and our war dead specifically suckers and losers. And everybody's like, there's no proof of that. It's just his word against 6 other people. Okay. Believe that if you want. But it is indisputable that he doesn't believe POWs who survived their captivity or didn't survive their captivity are not heroes. Right? They're just, that's just what happens in war. So if they die in a fucking concentration camp or they get fucking bamboo, spears up their ass, sucks to be you, buddy. You should have been born rich with a dad that would slap your face if you even talked about joining the military. Right? Good God. All right. And all of the tremendous success that it has had over the last year. Memorial Day. Tremendous success over the last year. Remember what I made them do? Today we're remembering the stuff I attacked. God bless those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Somebody added that. Natalie Hart probably put that in. I love you all. Are you speaking to the dead? Holy shit. All right.
To signing.
So, Donald Trump, whatever. So, obviously, there's a bunch of people who have come out against this horse shit. And that's a picture of John McCain with a Vietnamese doctor examining him. See how his arms are wrapped right here? It's because they were broken when he landed, and they tortured him while he was there, and his shoulders didn't heal right. That's why he couldn't raise his arms above here. And he could have gone home. He was an officer, and they would have, the Vietnamese would have traded him and said, okay, he's one of your higher ups. They have almost like a religious and communist party kind of hierarchical structure, which is like, oh, yeah, you don't keep the high up guys. You keep all the grunts you want. Fuck them. They're doing it for the people and our cause. But the officers, those guys get to go home and have a snack. And McCain refused to go. And Donald Trump does not think John McCain was a hero for that. So, just a reminder. Yep. Needless to say, there's a shit ton of the magotry that are the DOD, the Department of Forever Wars. I think we should call it the DOFW now, or just the DFW, the Department of Foreign Wars. I mean, and it certainly limits the fact that they probably intend on declaring war on half of America at some point too. But still, so when you think of somebody that you want to have come out and give the Pentagon's message, to the troops on Memorial Day, think of maybe like a war hero, maybe one of their own, maybe somebody, I would think this would be what I do in a Sparks administration. We would ask some of our oldest living veterans to give a message to the troops on Memorial Day in remembrance of the people that fought beside them and before them, to bring a touch of, life and depth to it. And so somebody who's, in their 80s or 90s, giving a message to the troops that bonds with them, that's just what I would do. That'd be my first choice. A wounded veteran, who continued to serve or retired or moved on to something else, like Tammy Duckworth, for example. That's what I would I would perhaps have her give a statement, someone like her, right? That's what I would do. You know what Trump does? Yeah, he sends Kid Rock. Yeah, Kid Rock gave the Department of War's message to the troops. A rich white Michigander who, insofar as I know, served in no capacity, and supports a draft dodger, a 5-time draft dodger, in his presidential bids across the board, is giving the statement, because I guess 3 doors down, or that drummer who plays the flaming drums, wasn't available. They were busy. They had actual gigs. This is just so the guy who says that POWs aren't heroes has Kid Rock give the message to the troops on Memorial Day. They were going to use Ted Nugent, but he tends to ramble. The one thing about the nice thing about Kid Rock is that you can pre-record the message and then he'll just lip sync it. But it's, it's understandable, because, loud, slow yell rap is, that's the top of male singing. That's the edge. Oh my God. No, it's not a joke. It's true. Now, let's get to this, because this is the key part of it. And then I have a special message at the end of the show. Hit the like, share the show, by the way. We're at 120 likes. We can do better than that. It's a morning show, I understand. And it's a holiday. Some of you may be watching this later. If you're watching the show later on, let me know by putting a comment below that you were like, I watched this later. Just let me know, because I have no idea. Because I, as a creator which is really probably one of the most egotistical titles, it's like they went, how'd you like to be an influencer? Hold my beer. I'm a creator. Simmer down, Mr. Walk on Water. I'm not going to make you cry, I don't think, this time. Although, we don't know. That I would, I'd appreciate, just let me know, because I am not welcome in the algorithm. I use too many big boy words, and ironically, I'm not incendiary enough. I don't, I don't use clickbait. None of my fucking, titles that I have are like, it's all over, we're gonna die. Actually, where's the,
Keep an eye out for the end times.
Yeah, I don't, I'm here with the boring message from the future that the world intends to spin on, and love and music and art and dance and industry and creativity and invention and human connection is going to continue for millennia. So sorry, but it is going to, right? I'll watch this later here. Thank you. You're watching from the future. You're literally a professional creator or a procreator. Well, thank you very much for noticing. I don't know. Okay, so how do we even start this? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you could look at the human being that I'm about to show you and think that he's anything but the healthiest human. I'm sorry, I should have probably, my bad. Warning, Trump's nunt is the thing of nightmares. Viewers are advised to have a barf bag handy. It is It's really wagging about. It's been vacillating between inflamed and puffy like a bullfrog mating and like I'm beginning to think he's going to Walter Reed tomorrow to see a gynecologist. So I know you're thinking, this is the healthiest man in the world. No 80-year-old has looked healthier. He doesn't look like hammered shit at all. His skin has turned the color of brand new silly putty. But one of the things people are pointing out, he's going to turn 80 next month. And this will be his third trip to Walter Reed that we know of. And look, I'm going to just call it. There's been at least an equal amount we don't know about, if indeed he's not going there weekly. Now, there is in the White House, and this might be why he wants to build a little hospital room in the ballroom, because if he's going to make it the last 6 months, they're like, we're going to have this motherfucker on life support for him to just slide into 2028, right? That, he's been talking about how there's going to be like a hospital room in there, like he's going to run the country from a fucking hospital bed. That's what's going on. Now, there is already an equivalent room like that in the basement of the White House, in part of the bunker, just in case, right? In case he gets, Ayatollah'd, loses a little leg and part of his face, and they still got to run the country, right? He can do that from the White House. But apparently he needs more than what they've got, more often than any other president, including Biden, who was being treated for prostate cancer, which, by the way, does not affect your cognitive issues, just is exhausting. Also, I stand by the Havana syndrome Ray used during the debates on purpose. Yes, Biden's old. Yes, Biden had a stutter, but they used it on him. Get used to the idea. I'm just, at this point, for fuck's sake. All right. Anyways, so this is his third trip in 13 months. He's had at least 3 cognitive assessments, he says, which means, what, did he have one at the fucking dentist? Did he have one at the White House in the White House hospital room? I really do want us to have on Adam, Doc Adam on here at some point in the near future, just so that we can review some of this stuff, because it's getting ugly, and they know it. He's got a very narrow window where he's flurbing all over the place. He's super glitchy lately, so much so that I haven't even been able to catch up on the number of glitches he's had on the regular. Get back over here. Why are you not? There you go. Expand. Former Vice President Dick Cheney's physician has raised serious concerns about President Donald Trump's health. The president, 79, is due to undergo his third medical at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in 13 months, the White House said earlier this month. Trip comes amid swirling questions about his mental and physical fitness, long raised by the Daily Beast and now garnering more national attention. Also long raised by this guy. The White House just doesn't seem to want to acknowledge any physical ailment, but older people develop medical issues, and the president is almost 80 years old. Leading cardiologist Jonathan Reiner told the Washington Post, there seemed to be a lack of candor from the White House. You think? Yeah, so there he is being driven around. He's not even driving his own golf cart. Who's that? Hedina, hi. This is healthy though. This whole area, this business, that's looking good, looking real good. There's his cankles. Close up of that, as if the rest of him doesn't look like hammered shit. All right, okay. Reiner's a professor of medicine and the director of cardiac catheterization. The cardiac catheterization laboratory at the George Washington University Hospital. He said he was concerned that Trump's legs were becoming noticeably swollen. Since when? In an uncharacteristically candid admission in July, the White House said that Trump, who turns 80 next month, had chronic venous insufficiency, which sounds like a penis problem. But if they admit this, it's worse. They're using the Russian model. So it is a mild age-related condition that causes veins to struggle to return blood to the heart. Yeah, that doesn't sound bad at all. Leading to pooling at the bottom of the legs and a swollen appearance. No, it's not a swollen appearance. It leads to swelling. They are they don't just appear swollen. They are swollen. That's what there is too much blood, and it's not the gravity. It's not. They don't appear. All right, I'm fine. I'm all right. I'm gonna be all right. We're fine. How are you? The Post reports that Reiner said he found it significant that his April 2025 medical report made no mention of the condition. Yes, what else are they not mentioning? They compare Putin's ankles to Trump's, which is not fair because this isn't even the real Putin, and he's got cancer. Even the doubles have cancer, so they're skinnier than usual. It raises questions about whether it was present at the time, and if so, whether Trump's physicians omitted it from the report or missed it altogether. Yeah, well, that's a tough one. Which one do you think it is, chat room? Do we go with lies or incompetence? What is it? What do we do? Let's see. Are they just full of shit? Or are they dumb? I don't know why it has to be mutually exclusive, and I understand it's going to be a lot of people yelling both, but in this particular case, there are contraindications to it. So, God, it's hard. I'm going to go with how the fuck do you miss that? It's obviously, no, I take it back. They can't be lying. It's got to be, yeah, I think, no. I'm going to do is my one guess. I think they just missed it. No, you're right. It was bullshit. It was bullshit. They were lying. And that was my first feeling because I was like, you look at his fucking legs and you're like, you're not going to not write that down on the chart. I almost regurgitated my shrimp cocktail because he took his shoes and socks off, and I thought someone had released mole rat colored balloons into my office. This would be the cankles, blah blah blah. They're showing his like cankles and these things. Broader conversation about Trump's health is centered on several key issues, mainly that he keeps thinking the cognitive test that he's taking is an IQ test, and not that it's the kind of thing you take after you've been hit in the head with a 2x4 or knocked unconscious for 5 minutes during a Super Bowl game. And the difference, and this is kind of a key one. Let's see if this opens separately on its own thing. Open a new window. Boing. Yeah, there we go. This is the one. Get out of here, you silly thing. I've already signed in on the other one. I don't have to do it. A Washington Post ABC News Ipsos poll conducted in April found 40% of Americans thought he had good enough mental health to be an effective president, while just 44% thought he had sufficient physical health. He was above water in terms of his mental state. They said 54. Physically, he was underwater from the beginning, from last year. But mentally, they thought, oh, he may look like hammered shit, but 54% of Americans went, you could delegate. How hard can it be, I guess? And then ultimately that 54% has dropped to 40. And I think it's largely because they've been seeing him. It's not, there's this one thing where maggots like to go with this whole, like, the news makes it look like the news keeps saying, the news keeps saying, and it's not from that, because the people that would be affected by what the news says, especially around this issue, that ship sailed a long fucking time ago. What's new and what made these numbers draft downward significantly was the number of maggots who think he's lost his fucking mind. Since last July when he was, maybe they're like, you'd have to be nuts to let Pam Bondi put out that unsigned memo that there's no co-conspirators, and there's nothing else to see in the Epstein files before the petition could get signed, and bring Lauren Boebert in and threaten her with primarying and all kinds of violence if she signs on to the discharge petition for the Epstein Act, the Transparency Act. You'd have to be fucking crazy to do that. And then he did it. And you're like, oh my God, he might be fucking crazy. He's not. That wasn't crazy. That's just random self-preservation. What they would call on Mindhunter, animal cunning. He's just good at protecting himself so much that it's a muscle memory now. But yeah, and and we have some super chats. I want to get to the Okay, this is a copyright. Thank you for. By the midterms, they will be tooling Donald Trump around in FDR's wheelchair like Admiral Pike from Star Trek. It's fantastic on the Fox Sports. Oh, well, thank you. They like that one over there. Yeah, that's been my theory for a long time, and I appreciate your Star Trek background as well. Seahawk, awesome. Yeah, I stand by that, and that's also part of why they're building that hospital room and why it's so important to him underneath the ballroom. You don't think he's going to dance in that fucking thing, do you? He's he wants to be president shut-in. Remember Bunker Boy from last time? The only thing he didn't like about the bunker was there wasn't enough stuff to do. He wants them to be able to put a fucking putting green inside. You watch. One of the things he's going to talk about, this place will be big enough for a putting green. And they're going to have one they'll roll out like they put a fucking hockey rink into a stadium. And then thank you, Helen of Scots, for the Sheba dog shaking his hips and saying thank you. No, thank you, darling. Thank you so much. No, thank you, Helen of Scots. And then, of course, Chris, subscriber and now first-time poster. Do you think if Trump's health declines so badly, the GOP will just let Vance be president this year, or will they choose another candidate because nobody likes him? Here's the thing. The setup is such that our electoral system works in a way that Vance will become president if something happens that incapacitates Trump. The problem is, and the question is whether they will just hide him out of sight with those AI videos I've been showing you, where they're pretending he's still making addresses. They could do that for a while. And I have no doubt they are banking those things in case something goes sideways. They've got 10 days of fucking him sitting there talking so they can build an avatar that he can do, Oval Office addresses. They'll be doing ones that involve other members of the cabinet. There'll be a Dr. Oz in the background with his hands on his fucking thighs, saying nothing and just nodding every so often. And occasionally he'll have 7 fingers on one hand. And then I don't know how AI will just eject. It just will refuse to do RFK Jr. because it'll think it's wrong. Like, that's not what a person looks or sounds like. Its own programming will go, that's not. It'll give him like a Romulan ridge and go, that now he makes sense. Or they'll just put in the Great Gonzo. But insofar as running in 2028, if that's what you mean, they also kind of won't have a choice, because they'll be running on the legacy of Trump at that point. So it will be about the incumbency. And they're going to have to use every tool possible. And Peter Thiel, Vance is his boy. Maybe quite literally, wink, wink. So there is people talk about Rubio making a run for it. That's not going to happen. There is no way that General Magatry will vote for a Cuban American as president who, just speaking fluent Spanish is a red flag for them. You don't honestly think they're going to vote for Rubio, do you? And half of them, it's the weird thing is the Magatry splits both ways. Let me know in the emotes if you hear what I'm saying. The General Magatry splits on him being the neocon that they were, that they blame along with Netanyahu and others for forcing Trump into carrying out the PNAC plan because he was a Trump hater and now he's whispering into Trump's ear and making him do these things. Or they think he's going to be a never Trumper who's disloyal, who will jettison everything and go back to the old ways of being a Republican as soon as he gets a chance to. So he'll get elected running like he's a friend of MAGA, and then he'll go back to being basically a shorter Mitch McConnell, right? That's what they think is going to happen. So their voters are split on him on policy, but there's also just a huge swath of maggots that are not ever going to vote for it, like for a guy with a Hispanic last name. And if you speak fluent Spanish, you're out. That's it. So, and then, thanks, Stacy. It was great meeting you too. And thank you so much for it was very sweet. Like everybody was so great. I'm sorry I couldn't talk longer because my voice was getting tired after the show. And, a lot of people think that lead singers are aloof. That's not the case. Lead singers are not aloof, ladies and gentlemen. They just can't talk in clubs or at events without ruining their throat because talking is worse than singing. And I do it for a living, so I know. I had to buy one of those nebulizers to like keep my throat moist. So I'm like, so I could do shows like this one on show days. That's what I've been working on. So I literally am building a singer's kit so that I can still do my show without losing my voice. Because I'm getting there. I'm very much getting there. But the struggle is real. And Jenny says, thanks to you and all that worked so hard to make the Chicago Nerd Halen show happen. It was a wonderful night. Meeting Johnny and seeing you again was just icing on the cake. Midwest needs more Nerd Halen. I agree, Jenny. And it was super fun. It was so much fun. And like I said, that was only my fourth show with In-Ears, third Nerd Halen show. So that was a tall order. It was very exciting. Skating on the edge, but it worked. And I held my throat, like my voice held up because of that. And so I'm sold. Now I have to be able to afford a better one. Cause right now I have kind of let's just call it the prosumer model, which is fine for now, right? Not in a rush, but I have to budget things, But for now, the do what Prince did and wear a throat warmer. Yeah, I have a thing about it's like that Mitch Hedberg bit. It's like, I don't like turtlenecks because it's like being choked by a really weak guy. It's the same kind of thing, like wearing a scarf, and certainly living in Vegas where it was 100 degrees at night. Don't yell, sing for a while. Well, that's the thing. I got to sing tomorrow night. I have the jam tomorrow night. We're doing a Zeppelin, Aerosmith, and what is it else? Yeah, Zeppelin, Aerosmith, and somebody else. One song from each of these three bands. I'm blitzing on the others. But I'm doing Immigrant Song to open tomorrow night. So obviously, I'm going to keep my talking to a minimum except doing shows, so I can rest them. And then we're ending with Train Kept Rolling. Or no, not Train Kept Rolling, because I talked them out of that. We're doing Back in the Saddle again, So we're doing Back in the Saddle at the end, and then doing Walk This Way as well. The non-rap version, the original, which is fun, and I prefer. Yeah, I like the rap version too. It's adorable, but the original was the shit. Is it hard? I don't think it was hard. Oh, yes, it is, because I wanted to do Barracuda, and they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to open with it. Boo. Yeah, I'm a little annoyed I didn't get to do a hard song, especially now. Do you do your ginger gum? No, I don't do ginger gum. I do Airwaves. It's like a menthol gum. It's what Rob Halford chews all the time, apparently. He always has a piece of it in his mouth. Do I gargle? I do, but with salt water, but only when my voice is having a rough one. That helps immensely. The show at the Vixen was awesome. Yeah, it was super fun. And I love that place. Like, it feels like you're playing a level of Guitar Hero. It looks fake. Like it's so much light and the big screen and everything. Oh shit. Yeah, warm salt water. That's what I do. It is good for your gums. That's right. Hal Trump is John Gill in Star Trek. I don't think he qualifies as any character. It's, you know, I think he's kind of like if they had a Borg on the Fritz. But yeah, so that's where I am. All right. A request. Oh, awesome. Yes, we should clip a bit about the Neom city in Saudi Arabia, because it's just, you know, like everything else.
Dum, dum, dum,
It's dumb.
dum, dum.
It's stupid. Yes, Jenny, thank you for the shirt, by the way. Jenny brought a shirt that said, "You're all, I'm all that and dim sum." So keep an eye out for that in the upcoming show. I always have to wash a shirt before I wear it because I have sensitive skin. Okay, just understand. Appreciate it. All right. So we're approaching this last little bit. I normally don't do videos at the top of the show, you know, like or in the morning show. But there's a video that came up that I watched part of, and again, I don't pre-watch the videos in the afternoon show. This afternoon, 3:00, we'll be having a regular show. Please join me if you're sitting around and you want to avoid family or something, or you can watch it at your leisure at another time. But hit the like, share the show, etc., etc. Give a thumbs up, all that stuff. Jeff Tate was a smoker. That always baffled me. Yes, it is very strange. I will say that pot smoke is very hot and it's bad for your throat, and it's ruining more singers than almost anything else. It's not good anyways, but the nicotine might relax him and he has good techniques, so he probably was doing that, and it kept him from getting acid reflux, which is worse for your throat. Obviously, reflex is also bad for your throat, just as a song. Reflex. So, I gotta say, the people who are trying to back slowly out of the Trump room are my favorites currently. These are the people who are like, I was never really that. It wasn't that big. I wasn't really into. It wasn't so much that there were some of the things he said. They were selling him hard. They were going for it. They were swinging for the fences. But let's see. Where is this silly person? Yeah, here it is. This is Neom Dumb. So there are the people in the Trump world, the MAGA sphere, that are kind of quietly just kind of standing back. Like they know they back this pony, but they hope it'll pass and somebody else will take that problem off their plate. Namely Democrats by winning. That would be the Nick Fuentes crowd who want, the people that listen to him. Fuentes is being active, but the incel group that listen to him are like basically like, all right, let Trump fuck himself into a corner, and they'll either vote for Democrats or not vote at all. But they're going to do it passively. They're not going to go, sorry, I fucked up. I voted for a pedophile's wingman. I don't know how I couldn't have. I missed it, I guess. By the way, somebody said super chat, thanks for streaming on Instagram. It was so much funny to watch. Thanks. I didn't even know if I haven't looked at those videos yet to see if they even sound remotely close to okay. Somebody said Trump is a job for lab rats. Or you mean because he needs a brain implant? Treba, thank you so much. Oh my God. Yes, member for 61 months. Sparklers are the best. I agree. There are those in the maggot sphere that are walking back, what they're saying, but quietly, just standing, doing the Homer Simpson into the hedge. You know what I mean? Not admitting that they participated in this fuckery, but not adding onto it. So they get a C+ in this, right? It's just about. And then there's the people who are actively like, kind of doing the Tucker Megyn Kelly thing, or that woman, Brick Toe Jam woman, where they're apologizing to other maggots, but they're not apologizing to everybody that they lied about and, misconstrued what they were saying, vilified, called us democrats and all that horse shit. They're not going to apologize for that. They're just going to apologize to the other maggots for suckering their fellow maggotry into voting for a pedophile's wingman. So those folks, maybe because they're apologizing kind of globally, they'll get a B- in this. But then there's the folks that are just pretending they were always like, I was never really in a party. I've always been an independent thinker. I think the parties are just the same, and it's the machine and establishment, blah, bitty, fucky, blah. That, do this like the TYT tap dance. And it should come as no surprise that Jim Booger is one of them. This has got to be the fastest zero to full of shit hypocrite video ever. The real reason society is falling apart. Okay, first of all, citation needed. Society is not falling apart. Maggots are experiencing a civil war amongst themselves, and they are projecting it onto the rest of us who are managing just fine. Jim Breuer reacts to his own premise. That sure makes it easy, I'm guessing. So listen to this and see if you can see at what point my head caught fire.
A lot of people are feeling, we're losing sympathy towards one another, and where'd that start? It starts with what we allow every day, politics.
So we're losing sympathy with one another. Where does it start? It starts with what we allow every day.
The news.
Politics and news. Politics and news is why we're losing sympathy for each other.
Politics and news will define pure evil. Let's say
politics and news. But put a pin in this. Make a mental note. Stick it on the wall. Politics and news will define pure evil. Which I guess, he means kind of. I speak Booger, so I think he means will insinuate that certain people are villainous when they are or aren't or what have you. When he agrees with it, they are. When he doesn't, that's the news, making you hate. This is all a maggot problem, by the way. This is him reacting to the kind of Candace Owens, Joe Rogan, Dave Smith back and forth that's going on. That's where this is the impetus for this, but he's blaming the media for their infighting. But it gets...
You're a moral person, a spiritual person.
If you're a moral person and a spiritual person, also make note of that.
Well, what do you thrive for? You thrive for understanding.
That's right. You want understanding. Absolutely. I understand.
Forgiveness.
You want forgiveness. Absolutely. Now talk about Hunter Biden. I'm kidding.
Enlightenment.
Enlightenment.
Inspiring.
You mean inspiration? Maybe you just consider yourself inspired. Never mind.
In there in the worst times, not judging anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Not judging anyone, even if they're in the media for doing a job, living. Sorry.
Because you know their story. What does politics and what does news do?
What does politics and news do? Okay. Politics is technically how democracy is run. It's not the presentation of it. Politicking is how representative government works. And news, in theory, tells you to some degree what's going on, or it should.
Judge, nonstop judging. This person's this and this person that, and my opponent this and my opponent that, and you like that opponent. This opponent's a jerk, and this one, like that's
Fox News. Is what you mean? Yeah, that's it. So you have a problem with Fox News, I guess, is the point. And Newsmax and RSBN and RAV and fucking Orange Anus Network and all those kind of things. Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. But that's all they do. All I ever see on the news is that person's a jerk and this person's stupid.
That's a bad human being.
Sorry, you caught me off guard there. I was in the middle of striving for understanding, inspiration, and forgiveness. And you did what? Sorry, the people at the news organization do what?
Like that's a bad human being. And that's in your face every single day. The news, this is bad, this is a killing, we need to bomb, we're going to war, we're going to kill. This.
Also, these are the words that might, over the course of 7 days in the hospital, if somebody just left the news on or Netflix, you might hear those chunks of sentences and draw from it the current state of the world. Also, this isn't, I mean, he's mixing, I guess, pundits, politicians, and the guests on the shows, as well as the news. And so you can just kind of cut and paste. By the way, it totally sounds like the people he's been voting for and he's supported in the last election. All of them, especially Trump.
Human being. And that's in your face every single day. The news, this is bad, this is a killing, we need to bomb, we're going to war, we're going to kill. So if you get rid of politics and news,
you get rid of politics and news,
get rid of 90% of evil like that.
Yeah, you know what? It's like the COVID cases. The reason we have all these COVID cases is because we keep testing so much. If we stop testing, we wouldn't have COVID anymore. I found the cure for cancer. Stop looking for cancer. Shut down the cancer institutes. That would get rid of cancer real quick. We might have some cases of consumption, but at least people would die at home poor like they were supposed to.
Literally like that.
Literally not like that. That is the dumbest shit I have heard in ages.
It divides you. It even tells you. Politics and news show you how to debate.
Why? Why would I take my cues on my own point in a debate from also slipshod with the politics and news? News should actually be the details, the facts that you actually need. I think, you know what? I might actually have a graphic for this as well. Prepare to let's see, where is this? I think, is it up here? It's down. Oh, it's low. It's down here. Yeah, here it is. Let's see. I'll take this. And download the video. There we go. And then I'll take this video as it's downloading. It takes a second. Give me 1 second. That I think is dedicated. This little piece will be dedicated to Jim Booger and all of his weird friends, who apparently, let's see, add as an overlay. Thank you very much. Hold on. Pause. Do this. And then I think we have to do some sort of like duplicate the vertical string. There we go. Shrink it way down. There you go. I'll put it over here. You go. See if this works. I made this so that I was like, I know I'm gonna need this soon. Here you go. This is for Jim Breuer. It's his own first launch of something. So let's see if this works. It's not playing the music. Why is it doing it? Hold on. Attack of the truth. Attack of the facts. There we go. I think I have to feed the audio through there or something. Anyways, I muted it. Either way, I had dramatic music. It was all very exciting. I'll fix it for later, but I just threw it in there. So it's probably best that the audio didn't play. Anyways, so publish. There we go. Oh, I know why. Because I have to go to live mode for it, or it won't do. I see. Hold on. Let's see. It's in there. And then this is in here. That's why it won't.
Evidence. Attack of the facts.
Right. So the problem that Breuer and his buddies have is that when you say politics, which is obviously a bit of the sales of ideas, and news, which should be the baseline facts, to start with. That's where based comes from. It's used mostly ironically in the MAGA world, I think. But this will interrupt sort of his pattern. He gets to, and by the way, he gets to remain blameless in this because Trump is, we got to bomb them and we might do this and we're going to kill and da da da. It sounds like he's just talking about Trump's Truth Social posts. And anybody who would do that is both judgmental and unforgiving, which is the exact opposite of the spiritual and forgiving person that Jim Booger says that he is. Meanwhile, that person is a bad person because you know their story.
They give you the questions and they give you the answers and they put their 3-4 bananas on the panel.
Yeah, that's. I think he's talking about he's not talking about the 5. I think he was mad when Chris Jennings gets dunked on CNN is what he's getting pissed about, and so he's jettisoning Jennings for failure because they don't have friends on the right.
And you don't have to think. You just sit there mindlessly listen.
I love how that's how he thinks Americans live. The title of this video should be Jim Booger Thinks You're Stupid, America. Happy Memorial Day.
To these bozos, these bananas. And you're like, I believe in that one. You get mad, you get angry, and I believe in that one.
Yeah, that's all the videos you put out. Sorry, I stopped being forgiving and inspired and gracious and spiritual for a moment.
And so, yeah, that's a demoralization of a society, in my opinion. You're demoralizing society.
You think he thinks demoralizing society means taking the morals out?
Politicians and news, all news, no matter what news you think is the right one or the one.
Right. This is the maggots backing out of the room going, I never even saw these assholes before, pointing at Trump and his cabinet.
With the facts. They are the pure evil.
But forgiveness, understanding, judgment, you got to forgive people because you know their story. So obviously accept people in the fake news who are not human, obviously. And I don't know what Jim's final solution for news people is, but
demonic.
Sure. Forgiveness except for the demonic people. Obviously, they're possessed. So sorry, your carcass has been taken over by a demon. So we have to kill it. You're going to die too. But, exorcisms are expensive and there's a backlog.
Pressure that is in your life every day. If you came home every day, would you hang out with someone that talks like a politician and talks like the news every day?
I don't know. Maybe if they're politics and news, they would. No, that's the whole point. You turn it on and then you turn it off. Oh, I know what this is. So, Jim Booger, who was famously in SNL for a little while and Half Baked, and then became a quote clean comedian, which means you can be as bigoted, racist, sexist, dismissive of minorities and cruel as you want to be, as long as you don't say fuck, you're okay. That's clean comedy. He went and did that, and he spends his days. And I don't know if he does stand up in any real way anymore. Honestly, maybe he's got a schedule. Let's just take it for granted that he does 8 dates a year or something like that. He looks like he's at a radio station in their kitchen doing a video because this is his real gig and there aren't people at the show. But he's obviously, he spends all his time online reading shitter and watching Fox News, and he thinks you do too. He thinks everybody in America blows off the work that they do and their families and their lives and ignores everyone around them. And that's all they do is drink from the fire hose of news. I do it so you don't have to. But even I, in between shows, am taking care of my girl. and my pets and my son and my, and not necessarily in that order, I'd like to say for the record. Everybody jockeys for position in the house, depend hour by hour, especially around lunch. And then you go out and do stuff, and it would be nice, when Trump's gone and we no longer have to white knuckle our government. Some level of stability helps us calm shit down, and there hasn't been a pandemic for a little while. Things do go back to relative normal, and we focus more on ourselves. But he does this. He watches this shit all the time, but he's losing now. The guy he backed is awful, and he's lied to people, and he's being called out on his lies. And so you can't just go, oh, fuck, sorry, guys. I was telling you the Democrats were evil and Hunter Biden this and Biden and, making crackhead jokes and shit like that about him. I was shitting all over and like, Biden's a moron and he's old and blah, blah, blah. And now Trump's shitting himself literally in the Oval Office, and women behind him are doing this because they can smell it. And he's, using AI because he can't read a Bible verse without his throat going dry and his tongue catching fire. And instead of just being honest, like some of these other people, he's just blowing it off. He's like, stop watching the news. All you're going to hear is that Trump is lying yet again. It's amazing how much they want us to watch all this shit when they think they're winning.
We need to go kill this one and that one. That one's a jerk and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to do this. You can't stand people
Sorry, is that how people talk? I'm going to kill this and we're going to kill these and I hate this guy and we're going to do this. You're right. That would get a little tiresome when we're just trying to we're ordering from Skinny Fats. If you want something, just add it to the thing. We're going to fucking, who invited Jim Booger over to the show? Just order him nachos. He'll eat it.
I can't stand people go, I'm this and I'm that and I'm going to do this and I made this deal. Oh, stop.
By the way, that's what he does all the time. He's just on the losing side right now, so he can't.
With the, I am thy Lord and God and I am greatness. You're not.
Sorry, is that what he hears when he hears people like Jim Acosta talk? Or Caitlin Collins? That's when Caitlin Collins talks. That's what he hears. Can you imagine being that fucking dense?
You're not.
Good one. You got him. You're not God Almighty, okay, Wolf Blitzer? Okay. I know your name sounds like you're a tank operator during the Blitz, but you look like a banjo player. Simmer the fuck down.
You're causing mass destruction.
Yeah, it's the news that's doing that, not Trump and his fucking threatening to annihilate an entire civilization as the president of the United States. It's Caitlin Collins, but stop saying mean things about Trump by asking him questions.
Yourself and everyone around you. But yet we'll allow that in our home and on our tabs. And and we'll read it every single day.
Well, we have a reality show president, so it's eating the news feed. Guess what? I got news for you, fuckwad. There's a ton of stories to talk about. You're not going to talk about them. I bring them up all the time. Don't get me started on fucking sodium batteries or solid state batteries or robotics or AI and that kind of stuff. And none of it's like, we're going to fucking kill a boom and I'm God Almighty, which is true. But still, that's not our burden. That's yours, shithead.
That's something we're all going to have to deal with, and we're really going to have to come to a point where we go, it's all out. It's all gone. Get rid of it.
This is what being wrong looks like in Brewer land. Dad, I got the encyclopedia and I looked up what you said about frogs turning gay and that it was normal for them and if they're exposed to fluoride. There's nothing about fluoride in it. Look, it's not about who can read and who knows what or whatever. Let's just take the encyclopedias and put them in the garbage and go back to your room. I'm watching Bill O'Reilly.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, just get rid of it. Knock yourself out, man. Like, nobody is making you do the programming that you're doing. But there are people making millions of dollars doing fucking yo-yo tutorials on YouTube. You're a yo-yo. Do that.
What was the main question?
There wasn't one. There was not one. You started this video with just you blathering on about how the news makes you judge people because they're evil and demons.
Why do you think people are losing sympathy?
So that's why.
So the question, why do you think people are losing sympathy?
And not only that, the demoralization. If you,
I need him to finish the idea. Please tell me.
have you ever watched a fist? I remember being in school.
Uh-huh.
I remember being in school, and the first time I saw a fist fight, and the first time you hear, I don't care what anyone says, it is a gut-wrenching sound. It's horrible to see someone you know get popped in the face,
What if your friend is doing the popping?
bleeding for the first time. It's disturbing. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and?
I remember the first time seeing that in grammar school. The kid was on the floor and the other kid was just punching him in the face, and there's a trauma to that where you're watching like, oh my God.
Oh my God, I should probably pull up my pants and go inside.
And if you jumped in, you had two bigger kids waiting to smash your face. And you're like,
Oh, see, that's right. Why you didn't help him. You're just like, man, that's awful. Sucks to be you, buddy, but there's, what the fuck am I going to do? Yeah.
and the reason you get that feeling, because that's your instinct. That's God saying, this is not the way it's supposed to be.
It's not just because the sight of blood makes you nauseous.
But yet here we are.
That's what he does. He does mean it. He thinks demoralizing is removing morals. That you have a moral response. You feel like you should jump in morally, but hearing the flesh pound hit sound, seeing the blood takes your morals away. Fuck me. No wonder he voted for Trump. He probably thinks that people escape from asylums, and that's why they were seeking asylums in the United States.
More and more, we watch people shooting one another, bombing one another, killing one another, talking about justifying murdering and killing people.
Okay, so, yeah, we all know Truth Social exists. What's your point?
Oh, you started it. Well, you started it.
Yeah, everything is grade school.
So let's just keep murdering and killing. Though,
yeah, that's not, in general. Maybe I'm just watching too much of my side of the argument in media. Come on, why aren't we killing more? I don't know why I'm not hearing that a lot.
those are deep satanic monsters. Pure.
Yeah, but no judgment. And obviously forgive them, for they know not what they do. And what they're doing is being demons.
You can't dance around any. You can try to defend it all you want. You come from a dark, demonic place, period.
That's right. That's why. And sorry, the question was, why have we lost sympathy with our fellow man? Well, I don't know how you have sympathy for a demon. Please, excuse me. What is that? Sympathy for the devil, right? Pleased to meet you. Hope you get my dough.
Period. I don't care if you're the most valued politician. No, he's your savior. No, he's not. He's the greatest leader. No, he's not.
Well, what if he's one of the ones that's saying we probably shouldn't be killing people? We should be spending our money on, the poor and downtrodden and the sick and people, the needy, welcoming the stranger, feeding the poor, healing the sick. There's a bunch of those, just so you know. They're obviously not Trump with his fucking bunker ballroom where he wants to hide in there and live in a hospital bed and run the country for the next 2 decades like he's Kim Jong-un on a fucking stretcher.
He's pure lowest form of evil.
But no judgment and forgiveness. Is any moral person knows this.
If you continue to promote murder, killing, bombing, period. Period.
Okay, so Trump is pure evil. Thanks, Booger.
And this is the beginning, and always has, with television. I don't know who runs TV networks. I don't know who runs the movie studios.
Obviously, you can't because they wear cloaks and masks.
I don't know who runs the CEO. The CEOs are the monsters of all this.
Sure. Don't get me started on first ADs, though.
They're the monsters. That's where you're going to find the devil. But yet they're never put out in the public eye. And they're the ones.
Sure they are. You know who the CEOs are. You can look them up. Why are you giving us fucking homework, you dickhead?
That are just, they keep demoralizing more and more and desensitizing.
Okay, that's the word he was looking for. He was looking for desensitizing, and demoralizing came into the front of his brain, and he just had to like mold it until it farted out the word desensitizing.
Oh, go get pregnant. We'll just scoop the baby out. Don't worry about it. That's your right.
Yeah, see, that's why he thinks demoralizing is removing the morals instead of stealing people's confidence, which is what demoralizing means. Yeah, demoralizing means it takes away your verve, your joie de vivre.
Not even taken to everything's a debate and it's a sales pitch in a political forum.
Maybe you're only watching a subset of 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 a bunch of what's the word I'm looking for?
This is some bullshit. We see through it.
Oh my God. All right, this is almost done. I didn't expect to go as long on this one. I know I've gone over. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Hit the like, share the show, etc., etc., etc. This will probably be its own little weird clip like it's an afternoon show, but still.
Since when is humanity political?
Since we were allowed to be? You're right. We weren't political. When kings and monarchs of all sorts, dictators, theocratic rulers forced us to live a certain way. Boy, politics is messy, but it sure beats the shit out of somebody showing up because the king said so and throwing you in fucking jail or racking you.
I'll tell you, since we started trusting them to control our lives.
They don't control our lives. They don't. This is what happens when you fucking hand over, when you vote for somebody like Trump and then you regret it, but you don't have the fucking balls to admit you were wrong, that you actively justified what he was doing. And then you hit a wall, just like Breck Warhammer and Tucker and all these other sheet heels who are like, oh my God, that's it. I'm starting to think he's full of shit. And like, we've been telling you the whole goddamn time. You want to talk about being spiritual, moral, forgiving? Start apologizing to the people that you actively demonize, not randomly go, this guy's bad and he's fucking bad, that happened to somebody else, or you vilifying another human being for the judgments you're fabricating. Or in certain cases, and in the vast majority of cases, I would argue, was on your side of the media sphere, demonizing people. Start apologizing for that yourself. Because this is immoral, what you're doing. This is immoral. This is it's amoral. You're abdicating a moral space while wearing a pious mask. Now I've got King's X songs running through my head. And if you don't, you should buy a King's X record. It's a great idea.
So that's why we keep getting more demoralized. And I've noticed that's why I travel to places that don't have that. And when you see they don't have the politics and they don't have the 24-hour news.
Where are you? What? Sorry. Wisconsin? They don't have 24-hour news?
They live in a very healthy society where communities take care of one another, where villages take care of one another.
It does take a village. It's true. So you're apologizing to Hillary Clinton now?
This place, they are the reason why our society keeps going lower and lower, demoralizing us more.
Sorry, this place? I presume that you are at a news station promoting one of your shows, or you just fucking hang out there?
And more and more. Corporate, politician.
Corporate, politician, news demon, people badzes. They're trying to take away our ability to forgive, and for that, they should be pilloried.
News.
Yeah, obviously that word.
Media.
Bam.
There's your devils.
But in a spiritually forgiving and open way.
Period. They don't care
Period. They don't care
about humans.
They're not humans, probably. So what do you do with non-humans who are trying to kill humans?
They don't care about your soul. They don't care about love. They don't care about inspiring. They don't care about unity.
Yeah, this video, I got to tell you, I'm fully inspired. The amount of self-congratulation at being so hypocritical is epic.
Oh, hello there!
It's who the fuck? Who around Jim Booger doesn't go, hey, boss, I know you're going to fire me if I say anything doesn't look good, but I just don't think you're selling the whole spiritual forgiveness Jesus thing while calling everyone in news and politics equally evil just because the dude you promoted for president is bombing a country again. And like the Jeffrey Epstein's wingman isn't releasing all the files. It's somehow, fuck me.
They don't care about lifting each other up. They don't care about healing.
That's right. That's what this video is. It's the uplifting. It's what I like. And the healing. I feel healed. If this video goes any longer, I think my butthole might close up. I think it might finally heal over and be gone. A boy can dream.
They don't care about any of that. They don't care about love. They don't care about God. They don't care about your
Not the way you do, Jim.
spirituality. They don't.
But you do. So tell us about the demons.
They thrive on crushing it. And yet, we allow it in our life every day. Every day.
Well, yeah. I mean, people lived downwind from factories that spewed waste into their lungs. And eventually, by using the power of the vote in politics and news stories that talked about how poisonous it was, they got those factories to start limiting, if not eliminating, the toxins they were breathing in, that they allowed into their lungs every fucking day until they learned through the news that it was toxic, and that's why they were coughing blood into a fucking handkerchief on the goddamn trolley. And they told their representative government that I'd rather my family and everybody on this block not die from this shit. politics and it's, oh god damn it.
You don't need a violent revolution. You just need to wake up and go, these
Kill the demons.
are the demons.
Right. You don't need a violent revolution. You just need to wake up and go, these are the demons. And then, I don't know, throw a picnic for them. What do you do with, what do you do when you're surrounded by demons? Yes. Thank you, Mark P, by the way, for pointing out that the Epstein files were sealed while Biden was in office because of the ongoing litigation in the Maxwell case. Excellent point.
I'm no longer allowing the demon around.
Hence why there had to be a law, the Epstein Transparency Act, literally to supersede all the holds that Trump-friendly judges had put on these files to protect him and his buddies. The Epstein Transparency Act superseded federally all those state limits and made it possible to release all those things. Gave permission legally to the organizations that had them. Without that law being passed, it would have been illegal to release those things. And the people that are in them who did all these awful things, you would not have been able to prosecute them, if we ever do, and I hope we will, with the material in that, because it would have been illegally released and therefore prejudicial to a jury pool. So if you're Biden, you don't want to release these things unless the electorate, the Congress, makes you, or there's a genuine legal reason why, after this guy's death and all these cases end, that you can do it. But you can't do it through an edict, because if you do, you would just give all these fuckers a get out of jail free card. It's exactly why, and fucking Cenk Uygur and these dipshits always talk about how Dylan Roof got a fucking Burger King. They took him to Burger King. Okay, no, they didn't. They got him Burger King because he was hungry. And if you are denied food when you are being questioned and you admit to something, they will throw it out, you dumb fucker. So get him a goddamn hamburger so he has food in his belly, get him almost whatever he wants within reason, so that he starts talking and saves the victim's trial that they don't have to go through, and the state a bunch of fucking money because he admits to it. And also, just in case the fucker turns out to be innocent, you didn't starve him while you questioned him for 10 hours. Ugh. Fucking. The young tyrants. Okay, anyways, that's it. Hey, what's up? If you like that clip, tune in where I shit on the very people that I said shit on you. I don't know, whatever. So stupid. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. The top part of that. Saw Dr. Birx on CNN this weekend without her. Okay. Hi there. Yeah, people are showing up. I love how did the Lab Rats kids, is this like East Coast kids getting out of school? Is that what's happening? Or do you just have a break? Although a bunch of folks are in the, Lab Rats fans, some of them are in their 20s now. So that's amazing. You guys are almost, I think you're old enough to come to a comedy show, a Nerd Halen show or something. By the way, tomorrow night, I'm at the Whiskey on the Sunset Strip singing. And then Friday, I'm at Flappers in Burbank doing stand-up. That show will be streamed live for our Patreons, because that's one of the perks I can give them, because I don't hide anything behind a paywall. Thank you very much. Anyways, I love you guys. Did we hear from the Major? He's okay right now. He's healing. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. That was the final thought. The Major has pneumonia in one of his lungs. He was in the hospital, I think, for 3 days. He's still there, I think. I love Lab Rats, and I'm 68. Thank you. I wrote some of those jokes. Thanks to the writers giving me the leeway to improv a little bit. And I feel personally responsible for some of that. Also the silliness. The Major is okay. It apparently he was in a tremendous amount of pain, but he's through the rough patch. Yes, and I'll see you then too, Carl. Friday at the show at Flappers. If you guys are in Burbank and you want to come see a show, please do. If you're a Sparkler or a Patreon or anything, and you want to come have dinner before the show, we're usually gathering in the, nearby. Thank you. I agree. Lab Rats will live forever. It is the only thing I would cut my hair immediately for. If they were like, we're going to do a Lab Rats movie or a pickup, I'm like, I'm in. It's the only thing. There are a couple of, I'd have more caveats with other shows that I've done in the past. I'd need some assurances, but Lab Rats, it's a go immediately. But I will see you guys this afternoon. I know I went a little long, but I got the extra time. So Major is okay. Hopefully he'll be, in a better space by Wednesday. But hey, man, interacting with the public and campaigning is no joke. And if you're watching this later, or you're just coming in now and you're going to watch the rest of it, hit a like, share the show, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Patreon.com/HalSparks. And of course, there's a Venmo up there if you want to buy me a cup of coffee or say thank you financially or whatever. And if you can't, I remind everybody, you can't, I almost don't like doing those things because I know people that want to but can't afford to, and it makes them feel bad. So I apologize. That's by not doing it a lot when I just should do it and get it over with. Because this is how I don't do live read ads and shit like that to pay for the show and feed myself. So if you want to do that, that's great. If you can't, don't worry about it. Just watch the show and enjoy it. And hopefully I'll take some of the pressure off and make you laugh a little bit and deal with these issues. And just, do all the free stuff. Subscribe and share on your socials and that kind of thing. That's it. That's all. Yeah. And then thank the people who do when they give us a super chat. Especially so, like JD Christie with the drooling face super sticker. Thank you very much. And Sandy, we missed you. Hope you enjoyed your Nerd Halen. I definitely did. It was lovely. And then Seahawks says, will Nerd Halen come to Canada? We will always love you. Yes, we will make it there eventually. I insist. It's harder for bands to tour up there because there's, whatever. It's a curious thing. And then, thanks, Jennifer. Thanks for streaming on Instagram. It was so much fun to watch. Oh, well, yeah, that was one of the key things. I think I reread that one, but that's okay. Doing it, having the vertical stream brings in a whole new crowd. So I'm glad they can be here. The message is what's important. Hopefully you guys have a great day, and I will see you this afternoon. I'll sign Major's card. We got it in the chat. If you want to sign a get well card for the Major, and I will see you guys later this afternoon. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And let's see. In honor of Jim Booger and all the folks that voted for Epstein's wingman and are shocked, I tell you, that he's not releasing the stuff and drummed Massey out of office. Because he wanted to release the files, and singularly because of that. This is for you.
Yeah. If they ask, I forgot it.
See you this afternoon.
Yeah. We ain't saying nothing. Black bar over my past, can't track this. Screenshots cropped out, can't catch this. If it looks too wild on the axis, highlight, right click, boom,
emotes. Come on, Twitch.
Blood and face can't fact check the madness. Throwing out page from the Bad Habits Atlas. If the story get messy,
subscribe.
In the ad-libs, highlight, right click, boom,
this.
I was young, I was dumb, I was scrolling. Type way too much, hit send, heart swollen. Now I keep receipts like a lawyer with a folder. But anything risky, get hit with the toner. Whole group chat, got tails, I ain't claim. If my name pop up, that's a typo, blame. Who's that in the pic, man, that ain't go strange. That's a random stranger with a very close face. Understanding my friends, I plead don't recall. If they ask for the tape, it's a missing file. If they pull up the clip, that's deep fake style. If they show me the proof, I just smile. Like redacted. Black ball over my past, can't track this. Screenshots cropped out, can't catch this. If it looks too wild on the axis, highlight, right click, boom, redacted. Blur that face, can't fact check the madness. Torn out page from the Bad Habits Atlas. If the story get messy in the ad-libs, highlight, right click, boom, redacted. If it hit too close, that's a rumor I heard. If the dateline match, that's a clerical error. If the outfit match, that's a popular shirt. If the tattoo match, that's a stock photo search. I'm allergic to question, coughing the light. I just added the ending, soften the bite. Take the worst 3 parts of the night, then slice like fun was had and we were not. Every X got a chapter I seal. Every text got a gap in the reel. I ain't lying, I'm curating the reveal. Just trimming little bits of the raw, real deal. If you saw, you didn't. If you know, you didn't. If you talk, I'm clipping. If they ask, we glitching. Swipe that name out, crop that frame out. If it made me look foul, delete then fade out. Black ball for my past, can't track this. Screenshots cropped out, can't catch this. If it looks too wild on the axis, highlight, right click, boom, redact this. Redact this. Blur that face, can't fact check the madness. Torn out page from the bad habits atlas. If the story get messy in the ad